Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Minister of Defense Mohammed Badaru resigns his appointment with immediate effect. Governor Moina reaffirms state readiness to welcome visitors for Christmas Unplugged 3.0. Plus, Putin and Trump's envoy set for key Ukraine talks in Moscow. We'll bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. Many thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that Vice President Kashim Shettima has endorsed a proposal by two Indian companies to introduce the Arcane Smart Class technology in Nigerian schools. The Vice President described the innovation as a potentially transformative tool for basic education if adapted to local needs. Hosting a delegation from the Indian firms yesterday at the State House in Abuja, Shettima said the school-in-a-box solution, which deployed interactive smart board, digital learning content, and AI-enabled teaching aid, would significantly strengthen teaching and learning across the country's primary and secondary schools. The Vice President, who recalled deploying the cane system during his tenure as Borno State Governor, said the technology's ruggedness and versatility makes it suitable for Nigerian classrooms, especially in unreserved communities. From the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating Nigeria's power sector reforms and expenditure from 2007 to 2024 yesterday queried Azure Edo Power Plant over the 18 billion naira the company received from the federal government through the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC within 6 months in 2023. During a resumed investigative hearing in Abuja, Committee Chairman Ibrahim Aliyu demanded explanations after discovering that Azure failed to disclose or account for the funds in its submission to the panel. Aliyu said officials' records showed that between January and June 2023, Azure received over 18 billion naira as excess tariff payment and other financial settlement from NBET payment. The committee also said directly fell under the scope of ongoing investigation into public expenditure and the power sector. But when asked about the transactions, Azure's head of legal and compliance and its representative at the hearing, Akeem Olabende, admitted that the company did not submit any document on the payment. He also confirmed that Azure omitted information on budgetary allocations, loans, grants, bank settlement, and other financial inflows connected to federal power sector spending. Away from that, the Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, has resigned his appointment with immediate effect. His resignation was contained in a letter addressed to President Tinubu and dated December the 1st. The Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, who confirmed this to newsmen, said Abubakar resigned on health grounds. Onanuga said President Tinubu accepted Abubakar's resignation and thanked him for his services to the nation. Reports say Tinubu will likely inform the Senate of Badagu's successor within the week. Abubakar, aged 63, was a two-term governor of Jigawa State from 2015 to 2023. He was appointed Defense Minister on August 21, 2023 by President Tinubu. His resignation comes amid President Tinubu's declaration of a national security emergency with plans to elaborate on its scope in due course. Still on security, the National Security Advisor, NSA, to the President, Nuhu Ribadu, has reassured parents and authorities of St. Mary's Private Catholic Primary and Secondary School, Papari in Aguarara local government area, Niger State, that the adopted pupils are doing fine and will return soon. Ribadu delivered the message during a visit to the Catholic Bishop of Kontagora Diocese and proprietor of the school, Bulus Johanna, as well as parent of the adopted children at St. Michael's Catholic Cathedral, Kontagora. He convened President Bola Tinubu's message of hope, noting that efforts to rescue the children were progressing and security deployment in the affected areas had been intensified, assuring that the pupils would return safely. The NSA urged Nigerians to remain united, insisting that the common enemy must not be allowed to divide the country. In a separate development, the Civil Defense, Correctional, Fire and Immigration Service Board has released the official list of physical verification centers for the 2025 recruitment exercise. Following the completion of the computer-based test last month, the board announced that shortlisted candidates for physical screening and document verification could be released from Monday, December 1st to Wednesday, December the 3rd. According to the board, the physical verification phase remains a critical stage of the recruitment progress, during which applicant identities, documents, and physical fitness will be authenticated before they proceed to the final stage of selection. As reported by them, the board approved centers for all 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The centers will host candidates shortlisted under the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS), Nigerian Correctional Service (NCOS), Federal Fire Service (FFS), and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps (NSCDC). In another development, the Nigerian Embassy in Guinea-Bissau has granted asylum to the country's opposition presidential candidate Fernando Diaz de Costa over a alleged threat to his life. This is coming after military officers announced a coup in Portuguese-speaking West African nation last Wednesday. Report says that military authorities in Guinea-Bissau declared that they had assumed full control of the country. They also announced the suspension of all electoral activities and an immediate closure of national borders. However, they later reopened the borders. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino has reaffirmed the state's readiness to welcome visitors from within and outside Nigeria for Christmas Unplugged 3.0 and beyond. Speaking at the opening ceremony before the unveiling of the Christmas Unplugged 3.0 official logo, Governor Moino described the festival as a vibrant platform that showcases the state's warmth, creative and rising tourism profile, especially as it boosts entrepreneurship. He noted that Akwa Ibom is making significant strides in aviation, citing the recent upgrade of the Victor Tower International Airport as a major boost to global accessibility. Governor called on Akwa Ibomite, friends and admirers to turn out en masse to support the 31 local government areas as they display their diverse cultural heritage. Earlier, the Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Aniete Odofia, had described Akwa Ibom as an emerging toast among the Committee of State, adding that the Christmas Unplugged event has evolved into a global fiesta attracting participants and visitors alike. Let's move now to Africa, where the Democratic Republic of Congo has announced the end of its latest Ebola outbreak after no new cases were reported in the past 42 days. Congo's Health Minister Roger Kamba said a total of 53 confirmed cases, 45 deaths, and 11 probable cases were recorded during the country's 16th Ebola outbreak. Campos said more than 47,500 people were vaccinated. He also noted the nation is still battling other diseases, including cholera and mpox. On the foreign scene, Russian President Vladimir Putin will meet U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow today, after the White House said it was very optimistic about reaching a deal to end the Ukraine war. U.S. President Donald Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who had acted as an outside advisor in diplomatic talks, is also expected to attend. The summit comes after 2 days of negotiations in Florida between Ukrainians and U.S. officials, including Witkoff and Kushner, aimed at refining a U.S.-backed peace plan which had been viewed as favorable to Russia. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky described the talks as constructive, but said there were some tough issues that were still to be worked on. So on the foreign scene, a U.S. appeal court has ruled that President Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Alina Habba, has been unlawfully serving as top federal prosecutor for New Jersey, a ruling likely to affect scores of criminal cases in the state. Reports say the president handpicked Habba for the role of U.S. attorney this year, but a district court rejected her nomination. So, the Donald Trump's administration installed her in a role that allowed her to fill in on an acting basis. Habba is allegedly the second Trump-appointed prosecutor to be disqualified in recent weeks. Before Habba took on the role of U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Trump had announced he was appointing her as his presidential counselor during his second administration, describing Habba as unwavering in her loyalty and a tireless advocate for justice. Still to come in the news. Trump to attend draw for FIFA World Cup finals in Washington later this week. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. Now let's go over to the concluding part of today's stories. On a business news, the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, has stated that Nigeria's return to Category C of the International Maritime Organization Council reflect a renewed vote of confidence in the country's role within the international maritime system. In a statement signed by his media aide, Dr. Bolaji Akinola, the minister disclosed this when he hosted an appreciation lunch for IMO delegates in London yesterday. He reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to constructive global maritime engagement following the election victory. Still in business, Nigeria's public debt stock increased from 149.38 trillion naira in the first quarter of 2025 to 152.39 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2025. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) disclosed this in its Nigerian domestic and foreign debt report for second quarter 2025 released in Abuja. According to the report, Nigeria's public debt stock, which includes external domestic debt, grew by 2.01% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. It said external debt stood at 71.84 trillion naira, while domestic debt was 80.55 trillion naira within the period. In health, urological surgeons have stated that Nigeria has the expertise and equipment to perform minimally invasive surgeries in patients with kidney stones and prostate enlargement using advanced treatment technology like holmium laser nucleation of the prostate. According to the expert, HOLUP is a minimally invasive surgical procedure used to treat benign prostatic hyperplasia, also known as an enlarged prostate, which obstructs urine flow. The surgeon said the country's readiness is evidenced by the successful execution of highly delicate procedures, including minimally invasive surgeries across select centers. The specialist noted that years of investment in training, technology, acquisition, and collaborative partnerships are beginning to yield visible results. Now to sports, where the White House has confirmed that U.S. President Donald Trump would attend the draw for the FIFA World Cup finals in Washington later this week. The United States will co-host the 2026 tournament alongside Canada and Mexico. Reports say Trump has made the World Cup a centerpiece event of both his second presidency and the 250th anniversary of U.S. independence next year. But the giant sporting extravaganza has not escaped the political turmoil caused by Trump's hardline stance on a host of issues. Trump, a Republican, has raised the possibility of moving games from some U.S. host cities amid crackdown on what he says is crime and illegal migration in some Democratic-run areas. Still in sport, the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) has set a semi-final target for Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations. According to report, Chell met with the NFF Technical Committee in Abuja, where a realistic target was set for the team. The Malian has also been mandated to inject fresh blood to the team following the Super Eagles' failure to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Charles is expected to release a 28-man list for the AFCON 2025 finals this week. The Super Eagles are drawn in Group C along with Tunisia, Tanzania and Uganda. They will open their campaign on December 23rd against Tanzania. On entertainment news, Nigerian singer Temilade Ogbeniyi, popularly known as Tems, has said that she has achieved more than her target in the music industry. The Love Me JJ crooner disclosed this during a recent interactive session with fans on X. Recall that in 2023, she became the first female Afrobeat artist to win a Grammy after collaboration with Future and Drake's Wait For You won the Best Melodic Rap Performance at the 65th Annual Grammy Awards. In 2025, Tems won the Grammy Award for Best African Performance, becoming the only Nigerian artist with multiple Grammys. And that's all we have for you at this time. To ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. I am Emedion James, and you've been watching Spectrum News at 10. Do enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for watching.